We'd like to welcome you to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by GrokTALK.com, New Hampshire's conservative website. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone-stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for 2 hours of news and opinion you could only get from GrokTALK.com. GrokTALK.
All right. Welcome to another edition of GrokTALK. Once again, fraught with difficulty. We barely got in the building in time to set up, but we have keys now.
Keys.
We have keys, so we're hopefully we're in next week on time.
Yes.
And maybe all our other issues will be. My audio output on my laptop is screwed up. So,
I'll have a backup laptop for you.
So
next week.
I will export everything for that, because everything's going to sound like we're in a phone booth and you're outside down the street. That's how it's going to sound. You're going to hear ads. You're going to hear special effect. You're going to hear the same stuff we always have. It's just going to sound crappier than it usually does. Welcome to GrokTALK, brought to you by GrokTALK.com, New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, and the coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers in whose office we are sitting, broadcasting to you on a live stream post that is actually up
this week.
And we're not remote, and
yes, we are here.
And somehow it's all coming back together. So welcome to the program.
Today's
guests include Greg Moore, who will be with us for a short segment to talk about some new ads they have up. Mike Rogers, who's normally in the other co-host seat, where Kimberly Moore has joined us this week, is in California, and he will be calling in from California at 9:45 to fill in the other half of Greg's segment, because Greg can only be with us for 15 minutes. Dan Hines from Merrimack is going to come in and talk to us about New Hampshire politics and possibly his race for New Hampshire State Senate. And then Jack Kimball, whom all our listeners probably know, will be joining us for the final segment, assuming, by the way, 6 blocks of Concord are completely blocked off on Main Street. So if you're listening to us and you're coming here today, come earlier and find some parking, and good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
What is going on today? I had no idea.
Market days.
Market days?
Yes.
Isn't that every Saturday?
No. Well, there's the farmers market, which is in this little street between the State House and the rest of Main Street,
okay,
heading south. But they've just taken over, 6 blocks?
Something like that. The block before Pleasant as you're heading north all the way to the State House. And there's lots of stuff out there. It looks cool. Come on down. Walk around, check out
lots of vendors.
All the vendors. There's at least 100 of them, as far as I can tell, because there's 15 or 20 per block, and they're everywhere. And they've got everything here, including the ice cream, which is right out in front of the building. Skip's like, ice cream.
Yes.
Hey, there was a red carpet coming into the building today. I figured that was just for me.
It was for you. I actually called the city of Concord last night and said, hey, do me a favor. Kimberly Morin's come in the studio. Would you please put some red carpet there? The tape is red and everything. It's awesome.
Well, I know, because they're afraid of me.
Yeah, because you just came right in. Meanwhile, we're staring down at the red carpet going, yeah, we can't even get the door open. Yeah, but I have to admit, compared to a year ago, it actually looks nice out there. Last year, they had a windstorm the night before, and it looked like a disaster zone. I mean, all the tents were twisted up into tiny little metal pieces. The cloth was gone. The vendors' stuff to sell was scattered up and down. People were coming in going, oh my, and they couldn't even get the third word out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I felt bad for a lot of people.
Yeah, those little pop-up one-unit thingies, they blow away real easy. So they get mangled when
if they're not tied down, and where are you going to tie them down?
Yeah, they're right out on the street.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you do that.
Not only that, but the big tents, like the one at the very southern end of the street, I mean, those are expensive tents. Gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
The guy right out here he had 2 of those tables like this one, and he had his tent down, and he had it tied to the tables, just in case. I think maybe last year he had a problem. So anyway, best of luck to all you vendors and adventurous people who've gone out and started your own business in the state of New Hampshire, despite all the cartels that run this place. And good luck to you. We hope you have a great day. It's a beautiful day. It's cool.
Yep.
It's going to be nice. Maybe it's 70s, upper 70s, maybe low 80s. It's a
low humidity.
Low humidity. Great weekend. Please come and support Concord. If you're far away and you're within driving distance, come on up. And we might not be here by the time you get here, but hey, they will. So we'd like you to enjoy New Hampshire the way we do. Well, actually, we'd like you to enjoy it better because you don't actually live here in the politics where we do, and it's not always pretty.
And if you want to call in and make Ed Larkin flash, the number is
603
that's right.
715 9689. That's 603-715-9689. You can make Ed Larkin flash. A new feature this week we're going to do, hopefully sometime in the next 20 minutes, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which we want you to participate in, readers. Email me throughout the week and let me know about your Whiskey Tango Foxtrot discovery.
Or moment.
And maybe we'll feature it on the program. We had a lot of options this week. I thought of this yesterday, and I got an inbox full of suggestions almost like immediately because, hey, it's just there's
a lot of that going on in New Hampshire.
WTF moments going on. I think I didn't really pick a winner. I mean, you've got a bunch that we can talk about anyway. But somebody
Scott Brown's got one.
Yeah, that's the one that I decided on. Somebody sent us a picture of a car, a VW with a bumper stickers that said Marines on it, and then a picture of Hillary Clinton for president underneath it, which of course is a direct contradiction because Marines don't leave anybody behind and Hillary does.
And it's a veteran plate.
Yeah, and it's
on
a
the
veteran
car.
plate. It's crazy. But the one we have to go with
No,
is
no,
Scott.
no. You're actually wrong about that. Hillary loves the Marines. They make great waiters at the dinners, if you remember
that's
way
true.
back when.
Yeah. They're great for serving her.
Don't get me started on Hillary.
Kimberly's
we don't want to. We don't want to get her all upset because she's hungry. Anyway, I don't think there's anything in here to eat. Right? We have some Energy C stuff. Maybe we can give you that.
You don't want to give me any more hyper than I probably already am.
Anyway, Scott Brown hiding in the bathroom to avoid the Hobby Lobby question at a local New Hampshire restaurant is our Whiskey Tango Foxtrot winner this week. Skip wrote about it. Please fill us in. This is fabulous.
This is great. Well, I guess that Scott Brown was sitting at a restaurant somewhere, and a Guardian newspaper reporter came up to ask a question. Now, the Guardian is from England. And I'm finding out that the English papers cover our news better than our U.S. papers.
Oh, they
do.
always have. Yeah.
I love reading the Daily
The only
Mail.
reason I ever got The Economist was because it covered news differently from the United States media. It's left-leaning, don't get me wrong, but it's different.
Yes.
So they see what happens here from their perspective, and it just gives you a different view
Yes.
of the crap that we get served by the media every day. So.
Yes. But I would have to say that the Guardian is about as socialist as the SEIU, so the union here. So, and Scott Brown looks up and says, well, about what? And the reporter says, Hobby Lobby. And Scott Brown said, I'm okay. I'm all set, meaning that, no, I'm not going to answer the question. I'm going to just eat my dinner. Well, apparently, he then took off for the men's room and then escaped out to a car and took off. It's like, Scott Brown's at least consistent. He refuses to answer questions from anybody, at least directly. I think James Pindell or Pindell, I always get it wrong, of Political Scoop on WMUR said, well, how bad did the guy want the answer if he and his associate didn't follow Scott Brown into the bathroom? That, to me, was the WTF moment. It's like, I understand, go get the story, but I'm sorry, the visualization is not a good one here, folks. No, not at all. And but it does prove that once again, he just doesn't want to answer the straight questions. And oh, by the way, somebody did send me an audio tape, so I'm going to be putting that up where he was taking questions and not answering.
Well, I got to say, he ran away and did that, and so of course, New Hampshire Dems are hammering on that, but. What about Shaheen, Shea Porter, and Custer, who refuse to give town halls or answer any questions when constituents ask them questions that they don't like? So we have all these idiots in New Hampshire running for office who refuse to answer questions. Shaheen, Shea Porter, and Custer, we pay their salaries, and they still won't hold town halls or answer our questions. They push people off and say, oh, talk to my office, talk to my office.
Well, thank you for reminding me. Because Scott Brown said, well, I can't answer your question until I talk to my office. And I'm thinking, he's a lawyer. He's used to talking. He's been a senator. He's used to talking. How bad can he be if he can't take a simple question about religious freedom and go from there? What's it going to be, Scott? Is religious freedom more important than free contraceptives to women? Or are you thinking politically and you can't give the straight answer or the right answer?
That's the problem. They're not thinking about what the actual case is about. You have Shaheen, Shea Porter, and Custer, and Hassan all saying, oh my God, it's about birth control and there's not going to be any access to birth control. Oh my God, what are women going to do? And so they're creating and painting this war on women when in reality, they're waging a war on women's intelligence because they think that birth control is more important to us than the First freaking Amendment.
She's right. She's vibrating.
Sorry.
Hey,
well,
Mike Rogers, if you're listening, send me the phone number you want us to call at 9:46.
Oh, I know what it
Thank
is.
You. Oh, you do?
I do.
You can send it to me. He said he was going to send me a
He's
number.
going to get up that early?
I know. He's in California, apparently.
He holds to East Coast time.
Yeah, I do too when I travel.
Me
I
too.
try to anyway.
Yeah.
But no, seriously. So he didn't want to answer it because he's afraid of what the women are going to say or what the left is going to say if he answers it the right way, which would be...
Why isn't this camera pointing at her?
Why? Because those are pointing at me. That can point at you.
That one.
I didn't know. You just,
Yeah. What, you
Oh
have to have
my
3
God.
cameras
She's
pointing at
over
me
there.
raging?
Well, she's doing the thing, and it's close up or closer.
Okay,
up.
We don't need a close-up.
Too late.
Too late.
So my point,
I just don't want to be on camera, so it's okay.
my point is,
My wrist still works.
if you can't explain how the Hobby Lobby ruling by the Supreme Court upheld the First Amendment, then you shouldn't be in office. And if you're going to tell women that it's against their access to birth control, you definitely need to be fired. And that's going out to Hassan, Shaheen, Shea Porter, and Custer.
Well, it gets worse because really, when they say access, they want you to think that
You can't get it.
You can't get it. It's being taken off the shelves. Once again, we see the progressives redefining the language right from underneath us, where their version of access means I have to pay for your romp in the bedroom.
Right.
Is really what it comes down to.
Well, and the problem is this. It is extremely demeaning and demoralizing for women to actually have these people think we're that ignorant and such weak-minded little lemmings that we have to rely on anyone else to buy our birth control. And I don't understand why all women aren't saying, yay, First Amendment, we won freedom. We actually gained more freedom because the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, actually did their job and upheld the Bill of Rights. But instead, they're concerned about birth control.
Actually, it was RFRA. They didn't even bring up the first.
Right, but it's, you know what I mean, it's related.
But it is related, but it's an important point, and I'm a stick-in-the-mud engineer. You know, either it is or it isn't.
But try explaining that to these people. Forget it. I didn't mean women in general.
I thought that you were going to talk to, Shaheen and Shea Porter and Custer, because they really don't have a clue, or they have a clue and they're just outright lying.
They have a clue. They know exactly what's going on. They are outright lying, including Hassan, who I wrote a blog the other day, and she actually said, I will continue to work on state-level solutions in order to ensure that women have comprehensive health insurance coverage, protect women's access to affordable critical health services. Sorry, birth control is not critical. And protect their religious freedom. She is intentionally lying to women. This whole case was about religious freedom in the first place, but the federal government infringing upon the religious freedom of individuals who run a business.
Yeah, she just signed that pay equality thing too, which is a complete waste of time.
It's a complete joke. We already get equal pay. I bagged her. I went to an event she was at for a Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, I remember,
Not one mainstream media press in this state ever said to Hassan, that report that you're talking about, 77 cents to a man's dollar that women get, has been debunked over and over and over again, including by the Department of Labor. Why are you still using it? Not one of them did. I did. And she just basically said, well, there's other reports. And so basically she's going by whatever fits her, the agenda to lie to women and treat us like we're idiots.
Well, we have another story we're going to talk about for Governor Hassan after I attempt to run a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Few things are as important as finding the right doctor. And under Obamacare, that's harder than ever. Over a third of our hospitals no longer available. Our doctors no longer covered. Fewer choices, longer drives. No state has been harder hit than us. And even after watching it impact New Hampshire, Congresswoman Ann Custer still supports it. Call Ann Custer. Tell her Obamacare isn't working for New Hampshire.
Senator Jean Shaheen said, if you like your current health plan, you can keep it. That's not true, Senator. 22,000 New Hampshire citizens have been kicked off their insurance plans. Hospitals in Rochester, Concord, and Portsmouth, they aren't allowed to provide care under the exchange. Senator, you were wrong in your comments. You should apologize for your misleading remarks. I'm calling Senator Shaheen at 750-3004 and telling her I want my doctor back. You should too.
Paid for by saberpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
All right, maybe there's hope for the audio. It still sounds like we're broadcasting it in a phone booth and you're down the street.
You know, the question is, how many people actually know what a phone booth is besides those of us who have gray hair?
That's a good point.
They have them in Canada still.
Still?
Yeah. I actually took a picture of one because I was shocked when I was in Montreal.
Ah,
Phone booths.
yes. They've destroyed Superman's home.
Scavenger hunt. Go find me a phone booth.
Heck, at this point, you could say, go find me a payphone.
That's true.
That's, yeah.
It'd be really hard. All right, so anyway, while we're bashing the governor for being an idiot,
Liar.
well, you know,
Idiot
Demeaning to women.
she went to Turkey recently.
But idiot just says that she's ignorant. She
No,
knows
she's
better.
intentionally, she's willfully
She might be an idiot.
treating women like
Well,
we are.
She might
morons.
be. It's possible. So anyway, she I can't hear myself for some reason. She she went to Turkey on a trade mission, export mission, based on, and she touted this as necessary because hey, we had a 22% increase in exports. I'm doing it over there. I'm on the wrong thing. Thank you. That's why I sound funny. God, this having to push extra buttons thing is such a drag. What was I talking about? Oh, Governor Hassan went to Turkey for export thing. Anyway, she's been her administration has been touting this 22% growth thing in exports from New Hampshire. So when you think exports from New Hampshire, you think, oh, some guy made moose carvings and we sold extra moose carvings to Canada or something.
Yeah.
You know, something that happened. Well, actually, all of that 22%, except for 0.7%, was oil. Now, everybody knows about the massive oil fields in New Hampshire.
Where
Mad oil
fracking?
fields.
Okay, no,
Wait a minute,
it
this
gets
is
better.
granite, not shale.
Right, it gets better. It gets better. Okay, so it's all oil, right? All of that, except for 0.7%. So we've actually had a massive 0.7% increase in exports from New Hampshire. And so the oil, clearly not from New Hampshire, just travels on train from the Bakken oil fields and goes up through New Hampshire into Canada, doesn't even stop here. Okay? Doesn't stop. Now, we don't refine it. I made that suggestion. If you want to take credit, build some refineries in the North Country. They need work, right?
Absolutely.
They could take that oil and refine it, and you could ship gas wherever you wanted. Okay? Then you could take credit. But it doesn't. It just drives through. And so they're taking credit for it. Now, it's coming from the Bakken oil fields, which is hydraulic fracturing, right? They frack that oil out of the ground, stick it on a train, and now the Democrats are all against fracking, right? They don't even like oil. It drives through New Hampshire on a train on the way to Canada, and she wants to take credit for that as exports. It's crazy.
I'm just kind of sitting here going, has she never heard of...
She's been having a bad week.
Well, she has, and, you know, I'm just thinking, what, you know, geese fly over New Hampshire. Do we take credit for all the hunting that takes place in Canada because they go there and shoot geese that flew over New Hampshire?
Or since I walked my dogs up in Husky Park up in Meredith, should she take credit for all the extra jobs for picking up all the stuff that the geese leave in the grass?
Should we take credit for the people who buy 2 bottles of wine and bring it across the border as an export?
Ooh, yeah. Hey.
But that wine's got to come from somewhere else, so you got to import it. So that kind of nullifies that, right?
But you
Well,
still add
probably
value
not.
to it and sell it somewhere else, I guess. It's possible.
Well, you can't really actually sell it over there, but, you know, she might want to count that as an export.
There are rules for material you bring into the state and then do something to it and then have it leave the country to have it count as an export. All this oil does is travel across New Hampshire on its way somewhere else.
Yes.
All right, now this isn't Business New Hampshire Magazine. You can go read it. It's a pretty good article. I did post a post up about it. I posted a post up, post. And you can read that at GrokTALK.com. But go to Business NH Magazine, and it's Governor Hassan's export data is more than faulty. So you'll find it. It's a pretty good article. It's written by them. I quote them, and then, of course, add a little color to the end. And we really shouldn't be saying that our exports are up 22%. Doesn't make any sense.
No, but it looks good.
Well, it
It's
does
all
if you want
political
to.
theater.
It does if you want to spend $15,000 to fly to Turkey.
Yeah, after you've told everybody else, turn in the keys, just about.
Well, for those of you not familiar, there's a travel ban because of the budget in New Hampshire. Anybody is not supposed to have any unnecessary travel, and of course, she went and spent at least $15,000 in not traveling to Turkey for some reason. Maybe we're going to move oil through Turkey now. I don't know. We can take credit for that too.
I personally, given all the upheaval in the Middle East, I really wouldn't use that as a place to start doing business with.
Yeah, Turkey's not exactly, and I wrote about
where
that too.
Where it is, yeah.
Turkey, well, not just that, but Turkey's got a horrible human rights record. Even the more modernized, updated Turkey that's now going away had a horrible human rights record. They're bad on women's rights. They're bad on speech rights. They're bad on elections. They're bad on a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm going to Turkey because we exported oil that we don't even have.
Maybe she wants to start exporting free birth control.
Maybe. Ooh. They're bad on that
to
too.
An Islamic State?
Yeah.
Oh,
birth
no.
control.
They haven't reached the burqa stage yet, but although they may be getting ready to recognize the Kurds in northern Iraq.
No way.
Yeah.
Kurds in no way.
That was bad.
Mike's not here. I got to fill in. Did you hear that, Mike?
Something's gotten into his water. He's generally not like
It's called coffee, yeah.
Yeah, the Duncan put a little too much sugar in. But you with this extra shots of espresso, him with the extra sugar, and I haven't even finished my Mountain Dew, so I'm fine.
No espresso. GraniteRock.com, home of caffeine.
It's a necessity in life.
It is.
I want free espresso, actually. If they're going to demand free birth control, I want free espresso because it's supposed to be good for my health a little bit. And
I'm sure there's a constitutional right somewhere.
It's more expensive and harder to find than birth control.
It is. You wrote about that.
I wrote about my lovely list of things that I want.
I think there is a shadow of a penumbra with regard to espresso. So
yeah. Or dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is just a snippet. New Hampshire's leading fire-breathing, hard-charging, gun-toting, outspoken, rabble-rousing, freedom-loving blog site. Actually, on the online version, it says Mountain Dew drinking.
Yeah, I don't use that because I don't drink Mountain Dew.
I don't drink Mountain Dew either.
I'm outnumbered.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Mountain Dew makes my chest feel like there's a gas explosion in it. So just my lungs go, oh no. And I think it's the sugar, not the caffeine, because I can drink caffeine all day, and that doesn't bother me. But
I don't drink soda.
It's a wee bit too sweet, I believe. Anyway, what else happened this week? We have embarrassing governor. We have embarrassing state senate candidate.
Illegal immigration.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
What?
What about Shaheen turning away a veteran at her veterans event?
Oh, she did. Yes, she did an event for
did
veterans.
I miss
Apparently,
something?
101 veterans
Got it
was
on
not.
video.
Did you post it?
I didn't
wait.
post it on...
we got to help you post it.
Yes, because I'm having the video issue, but...
Matt Murphy, Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire, went to this veterans event. He's an Army veteran. He showed up, and they wouldn't let him in.
It's on video. It's on audio. He said, okay, but I'm a veteran. And they said, sorry, you can't come in unless you endorse... Basically, no, they said, do you endorse Shaheen? And he said, no. He's like, but I'm a veteran. And they said, you have to endorse Shaheen. We can't let you in.
He's with Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire. He can't endorse anybody. He's a 501c.
It doesn't matter. Put that aside, right? Put that aside. He's a veteran.
Yeah, he is.
And they wouldn't let him in.
That kind of shades of Carol Shea Porter a couple cycles ago, where a Republican lady, one of the scamming offspring, the one conservative one that I happen to like.
There's a conservative one?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
I'll take your word for it.
And she went up to Carol Shea Porter and started to ask for something, and Carol Shea Porter said, I don't represent you. You're not my constituent, because she was a Republican. We posted that years ago. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I have video from when Shea Porter a couple years ago said, well, I vote with Obama 90% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
I vote with, and that's probably why she hasn't given a town hall, because she doesn't represent all of us. She represents only the left wing. Whatever she's told to do by Obama, that's what she does, and that's what Shaheen does, and that's what Custer does.
Do you know what Carol Shea Porter and Walt Havenstein have in common? They both called me teabaggers.
Oh, I forgot about.
And neither one of them have apologized.
Oh, are you surprised?
In one, yes.
Hey,
yeah, actually, yeah.
On a related note, not that I'm a huge fan of Frank Ginta anymore, but when he won in 2010, she never called to congratulate him, ever.
No. And she also stole part of my videos to use in her own campaign ads, and she refused to take them down.
You got to remember, this woman was a social worker. Number one, she was always giving away free taxpayer money. And keeping people dependent on the system. Number two, she would never earn this much money in her entire career if she didn't get into Congress. So she has, number one, no idea what she's doing other than still giving away taxpayers' money to people and keeping them dependent on government, because that's what social workers do.
Well, not only that, but Pocahontas, Senator Pocahontas, that erstwhile Scott Brown couldn't beat. You know, I have to admit, Martha Coakley was a worse candidate than Elizabeth Warren was, Pocahontas. But she just came out at the Netroots Nation.
Nutroots?
Well, yeah. And came out with the 11 rules of progressivism. And every single one of them says somebody else has got to give you something. And it all goes back to the progressive idea that you can't be free unless you are totally supplied. No, well, yeah, that's how we would look at it. But FDR famously said, you cannot be free according to this Bill of Rights, which is negative liberties, until you are free from hunger and need of housing and yada, yada, yada. And so they have this whole idea of, we have freedom from government interference. They have freedom from want. The problem is the freedom from want cannot be satisfied until they turn government to be forcefully coercive and take from somebody else. Mm-hmm. They never talk about that stuff. It's always, we're all in this together. Do I hear music?
We're the collective. Barely. We're the collective. It takes a village. Didn't you know that? Come on.
Well, we're gonna we're gonna take our village on a little break for a couple of minutes while we call Greg Moore from Americans for Prosperity, who is our guest in the next segment. You'll get to listen to some muffly sounding ads in the break, and we'll be back right after that. My name is Steve McDonald. I'm here with Kimberly Moore and Skip Murphy. We are GrokTALK. Stay tuned for Greg Moore next.
Tried to make us believe he was a fiscal conservative. But State Senator Jeb Bradley has been deceiving New Hampshire taxpayers. Like a wolf in sheep's clothing, he claimed to be one of us, pretending to blend in, but all along voting like a liberal Democrat. And oh, how he drooled at the opportunity to vote to expand Obamacare, which will result in higher taxes and longer wait times in the emergency room. And now, Senator Bradley is leading the charge to try and pass a Senate bill to prevent us from criticizing his vote. Call Senator Bradley at 603-569-4208 and tell him that we're on to his wolf in sheep's clothing routine. Tell him to stop pretending to be a fiscal conservative and start voting like one. Paid for by Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
This is a coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. If you have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning. You're listening to GrokTALK.
Grok TV.